Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. So Ole Gunnar Solsjaer is losing the dressing room and Roy Keane has come out and said that the players will throw him under the bus. Now, Ole Gunnar Solsjaer is under serious pressure at Manchester United because we have endured a bad start to the season. We've already lost two of our first opening three league games, and both of them defeats have come at home. We lost our opening game against Crystal Palace by 3-1. That was our worst defeat on an opening day of a Premier League season since 1995, and we recently lost to Tottenham by 6-1. That was our heaviest defeat under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, and our worst defeat since the Alex Ferguson era. And Solskjaer made an admission after the game saying that it was his worst day in his managerial career. And we was also lucky to beat Brighton in our second league game. We beaten them by 3-2, but in reality it should have ended 2-2. So reflecting on this, we are currently sitting 16th in the Premier League. We are near the relegation zone. We've only registered 3 points from 3 league games so far. I think our best game so far is probably the 3-0 win against Brighton in the Carabao Cup. I think Solskjaer will be sacked as Manchester United manager by Christmas. He could even be sacked sometime this month. And I think Mauricio Pochettino will come in to replace him. Don't forget Mauricio Pochettino was linked with a managerial role at Man United before Solskjaer came in December 2018. Mauricio Pochettino has been managerless now for almost a year. I think Mauricio Pochettino is a better manager than Solskjaer. Pochettino is well proven in the Premier League. And he's dealt with top players. My only element of concern about him is that he hasn't won anything in terms of silverware. Mauricio Pochettino endured 5.5 years with Tottenham, and analysing the vast majority of his tenure, Tottenham were competing in and out of the top four. Last year, though, he did progress Tottenham to the Champions League final. That was Tottenham's first ever Champions League final. I think Tottenham paid around 12.5 million to sack him because he was under contract when they sacked him. Before he was at Tottenham, he was at Southampton. He guided Southampton to their highest ever finish in the Premier League era. And before he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol. But Man United have recently been in contact with Mauricio Pochettino's representatives. Obviously, if Solskjaer does get sacked, he will be the fourth permanent manager to be sacked since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We've already sacked 3 managers since the Sir Alex Ferguson era, and that was David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. But there's just a lot of Manchester United fans that think, we need a manager in with a proven pedigree, such as a Jurgen Klopp or a Pep Guardiola, for prime example. Some of the blame does stem from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer for the inconsistency, and one thing I said that's got to improve about him, and that's his decision making, because in a lot of his games at Manchester United, he has been very tactically naive. This season is his second full season at the football club, and I was saying, wasn't I, before this season started, that this is a big season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I said to you, didn't I, what will represent a good season for Manchester United, and that's finishing in the top 4 and winning a trophy. And I want Manchester United to win a trophy this season because we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years, and we haven't won out yet in terms of silverware under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Solskjaer has been at the football club now almost 2 years. I have taken positives from his tenure. Like I've said before, I think he has made some good signings. He has spent over £200 million since he became Manchester United manager. Obviously, in the summer of 2019, he brought Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. in January. He bought Bruno Fernandes and he brought Odi Nagalo in on loan. And in the summer transfer window of this year, he's brought 5 players in, and that was obviously Donny van der Beek, Edison Cavani, Alex Telles, Facundo Pellistri and Amad Traore. He brought 4 of these players in on deadline day. He's also brought quite a few academy players into the football club, and I like the way that Solskjaer has promoted the youth to be fair. He's also got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into Manchester United. We've also had some good periods under him. You know, don't forget Solskjaer did well when he first came in as Manchester United manager. You know, he did well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. I think won like his first 8 games. Towards the end of last season, didn't we go on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions? And we also went on a 14-game unbeaten run in the Premier League. Last season, our record against the top 6 sides was good. You know, Solskjaer beaten Pep Guardiola 3 times last season. He also beaten Mourinho last season. He also beat Frank Lampard 3 times last season. So they are the positives you can take from his tenure. And also too, last season was his first full season at the football club. And to be fair, he did exceed most of his expectations, didn't he? You know, he got us to 3 semi-finals. He got us to the FA Cup semi-final, the Europa League semi-final and the EFL Cup semi-final. Also got us qualification for the Champions League. And I did say how important Champions League was for our players, attracting players and for the financial structure. We also finished 3rd. That's the second highest we've finished since Alex Ferguson's retirement. But like I've said to you, I don't think Ollie's the right man, unfortunately, because I said, you know, I want his managerial tenure at Manchester United to work out because I like him a lot. He was a great player for the football club for 11 years. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance, don't forget. But I just don't think he's good enough as a manager because he hasn't got that proven pedigree. You know, Manchester United is the 3rd club in his managerial career. Before he was with us, he was at Mould. You know, won a few Norwegian titles with them. And before then, he was at Cardiff. Solskjaer enjoyed a very, very short tenure with Cardiff. The main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. Solskjaer, I think, has managed around 94, 95 games now at Manchester United, but he has won over 50 games as a manager, and he's got just under 2 years left on his current contract. I'm surprised he wasn't sacked at the first part of last season, because at the first part of last season, we enjoyed our worst start ever to a Premier League season. You know, it had only cost us around £4 million to sack him. And that's totally contrast to the £18 million that were paid to get rid of Jose Mourinho, don't forget. You know. But a lot of players have got to take responsibility as well for the inconsistency. You know, there's players at Manchester United that have got to step up to the plate. You know, you've obviously got David De Gea. He's been inconsistent in the last couple of years, you know, reflects on the calamitous mistakes he's made. You know, this season is David De Gea's 10th season at Manchester United. And I think he's remaining our number 1 this season, but I don't think he should remain our number 1. Like I've said time and time again, I think Solskjaer should put Dean Henderson as number 1 because I think Dean Henderson is reliable enough to become our number 1 goalkeeper because look at it, you know, Dean Henderson in his last 2 games, he's kept 2 clean sheets. David De Gea in his last 3 games, he's conceded 11 goals. So that's totally contrast to obviously Dean Henderson. You know, David De Gea could possibly leave the football club next summer. You know, David De Gea has made over 400 appearances for Man United in all competitions. 300 odd of those appearances have come in the Premier League. He has won everything domestically at the football club and he has won individual awards reflecting on his good run of performances. We paid just over £18 million for De Gea from Atletico Madrid back in 2011. When De Gea does leave Manchester United, he will go back to Spain. 5 years or so ago now, he was close to joining Real Madrid, but due to the fax machine, his move to Real Madrid did not materialise. And Wan-Bissaka, I still think he's good enough to represent Man United. He's a good right back, but he hasn't had a good start to this season, has he? Let's be honest. The thing that's got to improve around Wan-Bissaka is his attacking intent, because that's what he's really, really lacking at the moment. But in the vast majority of the games, his defensive contributions always been good. And Wan-Bissaka's our first choice right back. This is his second season at Manchester United. We got him in a deal worth £50 million from Crystal Palace last summer, didn't we? And Wan-Bissaka. Victor Lindelof. Now, I think we could sell Lindelof next year, to be honest with you. I don't think Lindelof's good enough to represent Manchester United. Lindelof may find game time hard a bit now, because Solskjaer's confirmed that Bay will be playing more regularly. Obviously now Bay's out with injury. He sustained a suspected hamstring injury in Ivory Coast's game against Belgium. So that's another injury for Eric Bay, and it's another headache for Solskjaer. That's my only element of concern about Eric Bay. He's injury prone, but I do think he is a better centre half than Victor Lindelof. I really, really do. Victor Lindelof's endured 3 years or so now at the football club. We paid £30 million for him from Benfica back in 2017. Harry Maguire, he's also had a really, really poor start to this season. Solskjaer confirmed before we just kicked off the season that Harry Maguire will remain Manchester United captain this season. He isn't good enough to captain the team. He doesn't really show any leadership. I think we've got to give the captaincy to someone else. Maybe we should give it to Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, that is. Maybe we should give it to Donny van de Beek. Maybe we should give it to Marcus Rashford. We overpaid for Harry Maguire. We got him in a deal worth £80 million from Leicester last summer. So he's the second most expensive sign at the club and the most expensive centre-half in the world at the moment. But yeah, I think we'll still keep Harry Maguire despite his inconsistency. Luke Shaw, he's also had a poor start to the season. Luke Shaw's obviously going to be no longer our first choice left-back following the arrival of Alex Telles. Luke Shaw's endured 6 years or so now at the football club. We got him from Southampton back in 2014, was it, for around £30 million. He had some good games last season, but don't forget the first part of last season was injured. Towards the end of last season, sustained an ankle injury, did Luke Shaw. Paul Pogba, I've been very, very disappointed with him. He's had an abysmal start to the season. I think there's a good chance now that Paul Pogba could be leaving Manchester United, because he recently made an admission saying that his dream is to play for Real Madrid one day. So Paul Pogba wants to join Real Madrid. I think it was around this time last year Paul Pogba had said the exact same thing, because he was talking a lot about Real Madrid and Zinedine Zidane, and he said he was seeking for a new challenge. And, he basically wanted to leave Manchester United. But I think in the summer of 2019, we said we wanted around £180 million. Our valuation at that current time had put, Real Madrid off. I think he's valued at just over 70 million. There's obviously been narratives of him possibly going back to Juventus. Paul Pogba did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus, didn't he? The vast majority of his performances at Man United have been totally comparison to his ones at Juventus. When he was when he was at Juventus. He's had some good games as a Manchester United player. PSG, Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in for him before. Towards the end of last season, I thought Paul Pogba did well. His combination with Bruno Fernandes was very, very good. For the vast majority of last season, he had that ankle injury, so didn't really have a perception on him anyway. Sustained a few injuries as a Man United player. This season is Paul Pogba's 5th season at the club since he rejoined from Juventus back in 2016. By the way, we haven't offered him a new deal, so there's no talks ongoing regarding a new contract. Pogba's agent Mini Raiola, I think, said just before we kicked off the season that Paul Pogba wants to stay and he will hold talks over a new contract. As it stands at the moment, he's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. And he's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. That's the news on him. Now, Fred, he's not world class. I've seen some improvements from Fred under the Ole Gunnar Solsjaer era. Hasn't had the best of starts to this season when he's played, Fred. There could be a chance he could leave next year. A few weeks ago, there was rumours of Fred possibly leaving the club. I heard that Galatasaray and Roma were interested in him, but Fred had come out and made an admission saying that he wants to stay at Manchester United and he wants to be an essential player and win trophies for the club. Under the Jose Mourinho era, Fred never really got his opportunities, did he? We got him in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. We paid around £52 million for him from Shakhtar Donetsk. Scott McTominay, now, I think there's a lot of United fans that have got reservations about him. Like I said, McTominay had some good games last season, but don't forget last season he did have that ankle injury. McTominay's been part of the club for several years. Just after the first lockdown, McTominay had committed his future with Manchester United because he had signed a 5-year deal with the club. Wasn't there an option of a further year? McTominay sometimes though is too safe with the possession, and I think sometimes his positioning is poor. But I think we'll keep McTominay for now at least. Anyway, Nemanja Matic, he's obviously aging up. Matic, he is in his 30s now. Not so long ago, he signed a 3-year deal with the football club. Matic has been subjected to transfer speculation before because he's had some bad games as a Manchester United player, but I thought towards the end of last season did very, very well. We got Matic in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. They haven't had a good starts to this season now, have they? So there's a lot of players, that have got to step up to the plate. There really, really is. I think the best players we've got at the moment is Marcus Rashford. He's had some bad spells, but I think he's done very, very well under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era as Rashford. We know that obviously, Rashford plays on that left-hand side. Rashford's been at Manchester United now around 15 years because he's 22 now and he's been a United player since the age of 7. And Rashford's been in our senior squad since 2016 and since then has become an integral part of the team. Last season was out with a back injury, so he was out for a few months. He also sustained an ankle injury, was it before we kicked off our season? But yeah, I think Mason Greenwood, he's one of the best players we've got at the moment. Mason Greenwood, you can say still a bit inexperienced, needs to get a bit more experience behind him. And he's gaining that experience now, isn't he? For the vast majority of last season, a lot of Greenwood's appearances came from the bench, but towards the end of last season, Greenwood was getting starts. And he's obviously, getting his chances this season. He hasn't done so bad so far this season. We've had a few issues with him, obviously, recently, was withdrawn from the England squad. England have just recently played Wales. I think England won 3-0. We had a few issues with Greenwood before we kicked off our season, but we know Mason Greenwood's our number 11. He's the 4th Manchester United player to wear the number 11 shirt. Anthony Martial, I think he's another good player we've got. He hasn't had the best of starts this season by all means, but I thought last season he was exceptional under Solskjaer, really, really was. I think Martial's probably had around 2 good seasons at the club. He was good last season, and he was good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. Obviously, Anthony Martial does play in that number 9, which he plays centrally, but I think Martial's very, very effective in that central position, even though it isn't his predominant position. We paid £36 million for Anthony Martial from Monaco back in 2015, so he's been at the club now a good 5 years or so. Bruno Fernandes, he's one of our best players, is Bruno Fernandes. The best signing we've probably made under Solsjaer, and probably one of the best signings we've made since Alex Ferguson's retirement. A lot of Bruno Fernandes' goals at Manchester United have obviously come from this penalty spot, but don't forget last season won some Matt Busby Player of the Season. He also won Premier League Player of the Month around 3 times, reflecting on his good run of performances. Bruno Fernandes has been at the club now almost a year because we got him back in January from Sporting Lisbon. Didn't we get him in a deal worth like £55 million? But you can say he has made a difference in the team. And, Donny van der Beek, he's enjoyed a very, very good start to his Man United career. He's another good player we've got. There's question marks around Solskjaer. Why has he not yet started Donny van der Beek in the Premier League? He's not yet made his full Premier League debut for the football club. Donny van der Beek currently wears the number 34 shirt, doesn't he? We did get him in a deal, was it worth around £40 million from Ajax? Donny van der Beek signed a 5-year deal with the football club with an option of a further year. Brandon Williams, he's also another good player we've got. Be interesting to see now what happens with Williams now that Alex Telles has come in. Williams can actually play as a right back. He's actually predominantly right footed, so he would be better at right back. So now he might be the backup option to Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, instead of the backup option to Luke Shaw at left back. But yeah, we probably will do that. We'll put him as a backup right back now, Brandon Williams, because if we was to keep him as a left back, then Williams would obviously be our third choice left back. Luke Shaw would be our second choice. There again, if we go with a 3-5-2 formation, we can actually put Telles at wing back and Luke Shaw at left centre back. But Solskjaer actually goes with a 4-2-3-1 formation a lot, doesn't he? But he's tried a few different things at the club. Williams obviously wears now, is it the number 33? He's the first player to wear that shirt since Paddy McNair. Not so long ago, Brandon Williams signed a 4-year contract with the football club. So yeah, we've got some good players, in our team. Obviously, Alex Tuanzebe. Don't really have a perception on him because he hasn't played that much, has he, Tuanzebe? I think he's still currently out he has been out of injury. Has he been back in training recently, Tuanzebe? He should get his opportunities though when he's back. Fosu-Mensah. He's played a few times for Man United, and don't forget at one point he was out with injury for a while, Timothy Fosu-Mensah. He played in a couple of games towards the end of last season, didn't he? Played in the Palace and the West Ham game. Didn't he play in the opening day defeat to Crystal Palace as well, Timothy Fosu-Mensah, so there you go. And, there's still a few more players that Manchester United are looking to offload. Don't forget, we're looking to offload Jesse Lingard. You already know the news on him. And there's another 2 players as well looking to get rid of, and that's Marcus Rojo and Phil Jones. Don't forget, Sergio Romero, he's open to leaving the football club because Sergio Romero is now third choice goalkeeper at Manchester United, isn't he? Because the reason he's third choice because Dean Henderson recently returned, didn't he? Juan Mata, I almost forgot to mention him. He's also a good player for us as well. I think he'll stay at the football club for at least this season. Juan Mata, he should get more chances. He doesn't get a lot of chances now, but when he does, he makes a fantastic impact. Currently wears that number 8, does Juan Mata. He's done well in the game he's played in so far this season. Did well in the Luton game in the Carabao Cup 3rd round. Scored in that one. And also did well in the 4th round against Brighton. Got a goal and also got an assist. Juan Mata's enjoyed a good 6 years or so now at Manchester United. We got him from Chelsea back in 2014 for just under £40 million. You know? But like I've said on my other videos, I think a lot of the blame stems from the board. You know, there's a lot of Manchester United fans that are demanding the board out. Solsjaer revealed quite a few times throughout the course of the summer transfer window that he was very infuriated with the board. And don't forget, Manchester United missed out on all of Solskjaer's main targets. We obviously missed out on Jadon Sancho. He still remains our number one priority target. I think we're planning to make a move for him in January. We missed out on Nathan Ake. We missed out on Jack Grealish. We missed out on Ousmane Dembele. Don't forget, towards the end of the window, we inquired about getting him on loan, but I don't think we was interested in getting him permanently. We also missed out on Sergio Reguilon. We missed out on Gareth Bale. Ismail Assar, we missed out on him, but we're not planning to sign him before the 16th of October. We also missed out on Erling Haaland back in January. It was a shame because I think Erling Haaland would have been an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer type signing. And we also missed out on Jude Bellingham. So this is another infuriating thing. But throughout the course of the summer transfer window, you know, there was teams around us that did very, very good recruitment, weren't there? But, you know, Woodward's been at the football club since 2012. The Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. And Matt Judge, he's been at the football club now around 7 years. He's accountable for some of the failure of transfers. But like I've said to you before, the biggest culprits are the Glazers, because the Glazers are the ones that recommended Woodward and Matt Judge in. The Glazers, I don't think, have got any intentions of selling the football club, and they've got no intentions of getting rid of Ed Woodward. But from my own perception, I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's been backed enough as Manchester United manager. And, you know, I think he does deserve more backing. I've always said that. Because he publicly admitted that Manchester United have got to spend money. You know what I mean? But, you know, we have been playing catch-up in the last 7 years. We haven't won the Premier League title since 2013. I think from now we're probably at least 3 to 4 years off from winning the Premier League title. We are the most successful team in Premier League history because we have won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues. But I don't think we're going to get anywhere under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I'm afraid to say. You know, in the last 7 years, we've spent close to the £1 billion range on players, and people will say, in reality, reflecting on the money we've spent, you know, we should be in much more of a commanding position than what we are in. But I'm glad, you know, we got rid of more players recently. You know, we got rid of Smalling, he went to Roma permanently. You know, we let Diego Dalot go out on loan to AC Milan. Andres Pereira went on a one-season loan with Lazio. We made the right decision getting rid of Sanchez because his wages were having a bad effect on the football club. I think, though, we did make a mistake by getting rid of Romelu Lukaku and Ander Herrera. That's a mistake Manchester United did. Our next game after the international break is Newcastle away. Man United have got to get back to winning ways, and I've gone through with you how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can avoid getting the sack, and that's results improving, players improving, and Solskjaer obviously exceeding his expectations. That is the only way. Now, I presume in the game against Newcastle, Alex Telles will be making his debut for the club. Alex Telles, yeah. Edison Cavani's debut has been delayed for the game against Newcastle due to COVID-19 restrictions. You know, but it won't be easy against Newcastle. After Newcastle, PSG in the Champions League, that's going to be a difficult one for us. Then Chelsea after that, that's going to be another difficult game. You know, Leipzig coming up soon, Arsenal coming up soon. These are all tough games for Manchester United. They really, really are. But there you go. So anyway, guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.